Hello lovelies, welcome to a new ASMR card reading. Where you will be selecting a group of cards and we'll be reading about what those cards can mean for you. I am by no means an expert on tarot cards or oracle cards, but I love them. Thought I would do a pick a card reading with the reference books and my interpretation of the cards for you, for some relaxing ASMR tarot and oracle reading. So today we have two decks. This is a beautiful tarot deck my lovely friend Vicky sent me. Thank you, lovely. And we have this oracle deck as well. So we'll get some answers from both of these decks. As you can see, we have 3 piles here for you to select your reading from whenever you see this video. So our first pile here has this shiny beetle ring. That's our first pile. Our second pile here has a seashell ring. And our third pile here has this blue flower ring. So when you're ready, take a deep breath and just kind of pick what pile calls out to you. First instinct is usually best. And the timestamps will be in the description for you for your particular reading, or you can just listen to all of it to fall asleep, whatever your preference. Let's get started. First up, we have pile 1, which was this beetle, sparkly beetle. For the oracle cards, we have the flame in reverse. We have 4 of ink and pen reverse. And for the tarot cards, we have Ace of Swords and 4 of Swords. So, let's start with the oracle cards. The flame. So because it turned upside down or shadow for this oracle deck, hearth, rebirth, control. In shadow, the flame is smaller and under our control, a candle or a hearth fire. This kind of flame brings us light and warmth, a place around which we can gather with loved ones and family members. The emotions represented by the shadow flame may look smaller, perhaps even be a glowing ember without a visible flicker, but they burn hot and slow. They last a very long time. Alternately, this card in shadow may show us what happens after the wildfire, the gradual rebirth of the land and our spirits. Like the phoenix, we rise from the ashes after tragedy. Questions to ask. What am I passionate about right now? Do I feel restless, wild, or like I'm losing control? Do I have too much energy, and if so, where can I put it without being destructive? Is there a fire raging in my life right now that I can't stop? How can I regrow after destruction? Are there emotions in my body that quieter but longer lasting flames? I love the idea of the phoenix rising from the flames with this card in shadow. So perhaps you've gone through something, but you're rising from the flames. Four of ink and pen. In shadow, this one came up again. Miscommunication, uncertainty. In shadow, our message becomes garbled and misunderstood. This may stem from a lack of skill in communicative arts or from uncertainty. It's difficult to relay a message if you aren't even sure what the message is. Vagueness, dense and difficult wording, or plain nonsense are indicated by the Four of ink and shadow. Questions to ask. What do I want to manifest in my story right now, or in the future? How can I communicate that desire to myself, the universe, and others who can make it come true? How can I be clear in my message to others? How can I express myself clearly? Have I possibly miscommunicated my intent or desire? Am I uncertain of the message I want to send? Or is my message vague or difficult to understand? Moving on to your first tarot card, the Ace of Swords. In the image of this ace, a single upraised sword represents your prime motive or guiding ideal, the vision that guides you through life's changing fortunes with single-minded clarity. The sword is sometimes shown piercing a silver laurel crown, a symbol of optimism implying evolution, progress, a sense of hope, and victory. In the advice position, the Ace of Swords in this position advises you to be steady. You are about to reach your objective. There may be no need to hesitate. Just concentrate on making your impact. This could be your moment. The arrow is pointed straight at the target. Your eye is keen. Your grip is firm. Let that arrow fly. If you set aside distractions and hit your mark, you will be rewarded with insight and clarity. Remember that this is not the time to hold back, worrying about the consequences. When you access this level of truth, you are very likely to cut through an illusion and nonsense. So, rising from the flames, finding your words, and not holding back with those. Perhaps a difficult time going on in your life, but kind of showing the strength that you have with it anyway. Let's move on to your last card. The Four of Swords. A 4 in this suit sends a message to take some time out, surrendering worldly concerns and retreating to a sheltered place of serenity, away from the hustle and bustle. The oldest tarot card image suggests a visit to the tomb of our ancestors, a place to contemplate your mortality and breathe in dust of those who brought you here. The Four of Swords in this position strongly urges that you keep your own counsel in this situation, that you may be too much fear and hostility in environment for you to be heard. It may be that your ideas are not ripe enough, or that you are not ready to listen to feedback from others. If you spend more time for contemplation, you may successfully disregard an emotional occupations and bias of others. For now, closely observe inner events. The time for sharing will come later. I always kind of think of like self-care when something like this kind of comes up. Because you have like, oh, steady forward, and you're a phoenix rising from the flames of something, or you can't find your words, but you should be steady forward. But all while the craziness is happening, remember, for self-care, away from the hustle and bustle, or away from the drama that may be evolving your life. You're strong and you can find your words and be steady with them, but you can also take the time away from that negativity and have moments for yourself. Thank you to the first pile. I I hope you have a restful day. Alright, so pile 2, we had this seashell ring here. Your oracle cards. We have 6 of thread, stitch, and shadow. Your second oracle card, 5 of thread, needle, and shadow as well. Your first tarot card is the Ace of Wands and the 10 of Wands. Let's start with your oracle cards. Alright, so we have the 6 of thread, stitch, and shadow, upside down if you will. So shadow, impatience, boredom, impracticality. In shadow, the repetition of the stitch becomes boring and tries our patience. We may feel like the situation is going on endlessly, that things are repeating themselves in a way that isn't helpful, like going around in circles. We may lose interest or want to quit a task or a commitment when the card appears in shadow. It may also indicate that the way you're going about things is impractical or ineffective. Sometimes we try to take shortcuts or jump into things without leaning the proper way to do them, and that can lead to disastrous results, or potentially spending double the time fixing our mistakes. It may be time to start over and do it right this time. Questions to ask. Am I going about things in the proper manner? Am I feeling impatient or bored with the way things are going? Is the way I'm approaching the situation impractical? It's your first card. Moving on to your second oracle card, 5 of thread, needle. So the 5 of thread, needle in shadow, numbness, expectation, relief. In shadow, we become numb to the needle pricks that would be otherwise painful. Sometimes numbness is a coping mechanism our brain makes to handle huge pain. Sometimes it's a reaction built up over time, when we've come to expect being hurt in a certain way. Here the pain is not a surprise, but something regular or that we saw coming a long way off. Alternately, this card in shadow can indicate relief from a painful situation. Whether that be temporary or permanent, again, there's no judgment on good or bad pain. It just is what it is. Questions to ask. Do I feel numb about something that should be more upsetting? Was I expecting this to happen? Have I recently found relief from pain or trauma? What would bring me the relief I need? So do these two go together? With feeling numb to some pain, distracting yourself with boring activity, the stitch that goes around and round in a circle, without putting much thought into it, or if you should be switching things up because you're almost hiding from the numbness. Or is this an escape? This is how you hide from the pain, as the card said. Good or bad, it just is. Questions to ask yourself. Let's move on to your tarot cards. Alright, so your first tarot card is the Ace of Wands. An ace of this suit in this position symbolizes a pivotal act or a fateful step that will set loose a chain of events leading towards your desired goal. It refers to a birth or a new beginning, the start of an endeavor, and building the necessary commitment to see a project or a plan through. The Ace of Wands in this position encourage energetic movement towards activity. Brace yourself and get ready to spring into action. You may need to make your move soon, so make sure you are fully prepared. Trust your instincts and spontaneity. When the opportunity comes, you may want to seize it without hesitation, so quicken your senses and raise your attention. There's an excitement in the air and support your immediate ambitions. Maybe it's time you're past the boring circle events, the boring stitches over and over again, and these actions could move you further away from that pain that you may be feeling. So it kind of sounds like the time is now, or it's coming up soon for you. And your last tarot card, and your last one, is the Ten of Wands. The 10 of this suit represent an all-out effort, an obsessive commitment to a task which demands everything you've got. The person shown in the deck with the picture is in no position to rest until he makes it inside the stout walls and a well-defended castle in the distance. If he fails, he'll become prey for the highway robbers after dark. The Ten of Wands in this position advise you to remember the true, simple heart of your youth and all idealism it held. Now maybe it's time to reach deep inside yourself and identify your purest, most wholesome impulses. As you do this, allow your optimistic, honorable side to see what's good about the world. Look beyond the challenges and setbacks, disappointments and frustrations you tend to see so easily as you reawaken your high-minded inner child. You will refresh your daily life with joy and purpose. So maybe trying to move on from the pain that you are feeling, or the boring circle that you go over and over again, the same thing, that cycle of pain, if you will. Something big is happening for you. So remembering more of that positive youth and preparing yourself for this big event that is going to be quite positive for you and move you away from maybe a painful event or a painful past. Thank you so much for watching pile number 2. I hope you rest well and have a good rest of your evening or your day. Alright, pile number 3 was the blue flower here. We're going to start with your oracle cards. Your first card is Seven of Thread, Tapestry, Independence, Wisdom, Ancestry. It's a beautiful card. Your second is the Companion, in shadow, upside down if you will. Your tarot cards, we have King of Cups in reverse, and we have the Nine of Wands in reverse. So we'll go ahead and start with your oracle cards. Alright, so your first oracle card is the Seven of Thread, Tapestry, Interdependence, Wisdom, Ancestry. The Seven of Threads is a tapestry, the weaving together of many threads and many colors in order to create a beautiful picture or work of art. Tapestries often commemorate important events in life or a community. There is history here would be good to remember. Thus, the tapestry represents our ancestry and the wisdom passed down through the years. Ancestry does not always lurk in our blood, but in our spirit or in our trades we commit ourselves to know. Knowing who came before you and what they contributed to your life or your craft can give you new world appreciation and understanding. The tapestry also represents the interdependence of all things. We are all connected in ways and could not exist without one another. Questions to ask yourself when this card comes for you. How are all the people, places, things in my life interconnected? How do I rely on others and they on me? What wisdom can I learn from my elders, or what wisdom do I have to give? What or who do I consider part of my ancestry, whether in blood, spirit, or trade? How can I use knowledge passed down to me through the years and generations? How do we build on that knowledge in the present? First card. Then we go to the Companion in shadow. Alright, so this lovely card in shadow, codependency, neglect, and unreliability. The shadow of the Companion can go many ways. One is the path of codependency, in which clear boundaries are not defined or non-existent, and two people become dysfunctionally attached. One person may play a perpetual victim while the other plays the savior. With enmeshment, it's unclear where one person's needs and emotions start and the other's begin. Alternately, the shadow companion can indicate a relationship defined by neglect or unreliability. Whether there's too much attention or not enough, this is a relationship that needs serious work or to be ended. I kind of liked the point of this first card, talking about how family and loved ones potentially can come from a lot of different places. And if there's a companion or someone in your life that is more of a negative influence, it doesn't have to stay in your life, that negativity. You can cut ties, even if some people would be like, oh, but they're blood. I don't know about that. If they're a negative part of your life, it's perfectly acceptable for you to cut ties for your well-being. Not even just blood, a friend, a coworker, a companion of any kind, really. Thinking about who you want to consider your ancestors or what knowledge and wisdom you want to give to others, that's very positive. And if there's someone in your life that's bringing you down, you need to distance yourself from them. Let's move on to your tarot cards. The King of Cups in reversed. The King of Cups reversed is bitterly holding a grudge or some hatred, withholding his natural feelings for forgiveness and blessing. This reversal creates an emotional vacuum around him and deprives him of serenity. His powers of empathy and compassion are wasted in favor of rehashing the past and feeling sorry for himself. Dispel the storm clouds, admit the hurt, forgive and embrace. Let the sunshine of peace back into your picture. So that kind of goes in if there's resentment or hate with this person and you're trying to reevaluate your inner circle, who you want to share your thread with, if you will. Maybe it's time to dispel the storm clouds, admit the hurt, understand the hurt, forgive, embrace, move on, do what's best for you and your well-being. Let the sunshine and the peace back into your life so that you can have a more positive thread and tapestry, if you will. Let's look at your final card. Alright, and the Nine of Wands in reversed for you is your final tarot card. In reverse position, avoid a situation that seems like a losing battle. Seek a new perspective. When the Nine of Wands is reversed, it is time to question your motives. Are you truly defending the high ground because of the humanitarian motives, or are you merely competing with others? If you truly don't belong at the forefront with all is said and done, you will not be a hero for obstructing others. These really go together, in my opinion. Is the negativity in your life just the losing battle that you need to let go and find the sunshine and the happy tapestry in your life, if you will? Really reevaluate if you're holding on to these things just because you think you have to, when in reality, if you let them go, there could be more peace and comfort in your life. Thank you so much, pile number 3. I hope you rest well and have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies. I hope you enjoyed my interpretation of the oracle and the tarot cards for your pick a card reading, and you got some nice relaxation out of it. Rest well, lovelies. I hope you have a peaceful week filled with nothing but positivity. Night, lovelies.